started. Sorry, I forgot my iPad. I've got a huge all my questions on it. So we're just doing a really informal chat talking about SLA, the conference that's coming on June 14th. And all these lovely ladies are involved in SLA and have volunteered to come in and answer questions and tell us how they feel and how they've been involved and what the conference has done for them. So we have, I'm just going to read your blurbs that you sent me. So Betty Edwards joined Draper Lab in July 2010 as a Senior Research Analyst, and it is also where she began her career in 1978 as a library intern while getting her MLS here at Simmons. And she was hired as a librarian, worked there until 1983, and then, sometime forward, she came back. So she works at Draper, and you have been, this is correct, the New England chapter president, the legal division treasurer, the engineering division program planner in 2013, the annual conference in San Diego, and you're an SLA fellow.
That's right.
Yeah. And then, Khalil, I don't have your bio, but what I know about you is that you work at EBSCO Information Services, and you are on the SLA 2015 Annual Advisory Council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a past president of the New England chapter, too.
And past president of the SLA at Simmons chapter.
No, New England chapter.
Oh, were you president here, too?
No.
Oh, I've been lying to people. And Brandy King over here is an SLA member and has worked in special libraries for over a decade. She spent 8 years on the research team at Boston Children's Hospital, and now she owns her own business, Knowledge Linking, and she helps small nonprofits and businesses find, organize, and share information. She's been a volunteer for the SLA, served on the Social Sciences Division Board, and other national level committees. And you're co-chairing the local level committee.
With Kalila.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great.
We make a good team.
Mm-hmm.
perfect. All right.
Thanks.
And I know that you had a few words that you had prepared to say, if you want to, or we can just do questions, or however you want to start off.
I have nothing prepared. Did you
I
have something
have
prepared?
something prepared.
Do it.
Yeah.
So thanks for the opportunity to come here and talk about the conference. I'm really excited about it. And I'd like to call this tips and tricks of conference going. And it really doesn't just apply to SLA conferences. It really applies to any conference that you're going to be attending in your professional life. You're going to have so much fun if you decide to come to SLA, though, and you're going to meet so many people. It's such a great experience. I'm a really shy person, and it's always anxiety for me having to go to a new type of a conference, not SLA, because after all these 35 years of going, I've only missed 3 conferences in 35 years. So I know so many people, these ladies next to me, as well as people that I met, I think, at my first conference when we were still students. And you'll attend conferences and just reconnect, and it's like old home week, so it's really wonderful. But what I want to say is last year I had the opportunity to attend a non-library conference. It was more for business development. And the types of people that were there weren't any librarians there. It was mostly C-suite executives, innovation managers, and directors. I really felt out of my element. I was nervous about going to this event. But I had a chance to, I also wrote down for myself things that worked for me at SLA in years and that I'd like to share with you. One of the things is that on Sunday of the conference, Sunday, June 14th, at 5:15 to 6:15, there's 5:15 to 6:15. Oh, I have
June
Sunday,
15th?
June 14th. I could be wrong. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's the Sunday.
Whatever, it's the Sunday, yes, thank you. There's a First Timers event, and this is hosted by the fellows, and it's a great opportunity to get more tips and tricks from the fellows on conference going, things you should be aware of, things that'll help you. There's usually food and drink at such an event as well, so that's something that you definitely would want to attend. The other thing, and this is one of my my big things that it just kind of irks me when I go to a conference is when you register, they're going to give you your name tag, and usually they put it on a lanyard. The lanyard is really low. And usually it's a lot of people, I think 50% of the people who wear it, their name tag is down here. I'm sorry, I don't want to be, when I'm meeting, you're looking down at, your private parts. Refuse the lanyard, give it back to the conference registration people. Tell them that you want a safety pin clasp so that you can put it here on your right side so that when we're meeting, we're shaking hands, I can kind of glance at your name tag without, looking elsewhere. So that's always
my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate lanyards. And it really helps you master the nuances of name tag glancing. So keep that in mind. There's also the Leadership and Management Division of SLA. I'm not sure if you are aware how SLA is arranged, but it's along, geographic boundaries, but also subject areas. So there's the Leadership and Management Division, there's the Sci-Tech Division, there's the Engineering, there's the Business. The Leadership and Management Division specifically I'd like to speak about because you don't have to be a member of this division. And what they had put out that I saw on the listserv this year is that for first-timers or less experienced conference attendees, they will pair you up with a buddy before the conference. You can chat about the conference, maybe meet for a cup of coffee afterwards, maybe meet at the first-timers, meet in the exhibit hall, etc. Go to the open houses together, walk the exhibit halls together as well. The person, if you wanted to make a note of this, the person who's coordinating that, her name is Valerie Ryder, R-Y-D-E-R. Her email address is V as in Victor, J3 Ryder, R-Y-D-E-R, at rcn.com. So VJ3 RYDER at rcn.com. So if you think that's something that you might want to take use of, please give her a call, or actually send her an email. The other thing I wanted to mention is dress professionally, and that means no jeans and no sneakers. You're going to be probably meeting with potential employers here. You want to make your best possible impression, and first impressions are so very important. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention is dress professionally. The exhibit hall, also called, what's it called? Info Expo. I still call it the exhibit hall from years ago. I think that's more of a challenge for people that are still in library school because there are probably 300 to 400 exhibitors. If you're not yet in a professional position, you're not sure what type of library you're going to end up in, you're going to come into this room and you're going to say, like, where do I go? There's so many vendors here, so many exhibit booths. What I would like to recommend is, and you might feel a little bit challenged, I would recommend going up to one that where there isn't anyone in the booth. You're going to see some that there's going to have 20, 30 people in the booth. Go up to one that doesn't have anyone in the booth. Introduce yourself. Say that you're a student or you just graduated. There's two benefits to this. They will be grateful that you came to their booth. I always feel really bad when I'm in the exhibit hall and some of the booths have 20, 30, 40 people, and then others, the poor rep is just sitting there like this. My heart goes out to them. So this would be a really nice thing for you to do. And then it's funny because if people see other people in the booth, then other people come in too because they think there's something important to talk about. So it also will allow you to learn about this product. This may be a product that you might use in years to come. So I want to mention that. Now, the other thing about being in the Info Expo is I wanted to warn you about not taking all the tchotchkes in lieu. I've been appalled at conferences that I've gone to, and I would see librarians coming in literally, the shopping carts that like senior citizens use. Seriously, I saw one woman that had 2 of these shopping carts. She's going from booth to booth. She's like grabbing all the umbrellas, the candy, the ear things, and I mean, it was very, very unprofessional. I mean, I was blown away. So no shopping carts to grab the stuff. And it's really, I think, an embarrassment to the profession. So you go into the booth, you happen to maybe notice some things you can ask. They'll probably offer it to you, so take it by all means. When you're going to social events, whether it be a breakfast or a lunch, there's going to be tables like this. Don't sit at a table where no one else is sitting, because there's a good chance that no one's going to sit next to you. Because if they come in and they see other people who they know already, they're going to gravitate towards other tables. Take a glance at the room, try to find a table that's almost full and that there's an empty seat. So if there's an empty seat here, this is where you want to sit, because then you can talk to her and you can talk to me. That's really, really important. At the actual sessions, the meetings that you're going to attend, and I've read things, this can go both ways. I recommend that you sit in the front. And I know that a lot of people in classes, people gravitate towards the back. When we have meetings at work in this huge conference room, most people always sit in the back. I always sit in the front because I can't see, for one thing. But one of the things about that is that you, I think you get more visibility. You're less distracted also, because if you sit in the back, there's going to be all these people coming through the doors, and you're going to be looking at them. You're not going to be fully engaged with the speaker. So I recommend sitting in the front. And by sitting in, some people say, oh, by sitting in the front, if I don't like this presentation, if it's not appropriate, people are going to be looking at me when I leave. They might glance at you. They're probably saying to themselves, geez, she has a lot of guts to leave this presentation. It's really bad. But people get up at these conferences and leave all the time. Always make sure that you have 3 or 4 other choices on your schedule to attend to, because it might look good on paper, these conferences, a specific session, but once you get in there and you hear what it's going to be about, you sometimes realize after a couple of minutes that, you know, there's really something else that I want to go to that could really be much more appropriate. On Saturday of the conference, and I'm not going to give the date because I think I have my dates off, there's a board of directors meeting. It starts at 9, and I think it's from 9 to 2. You can show up anytime you want. The board of directors will be in kind of a triangular area, and then along the perimeter is where all the guests can sit. This is where you could really get an idea of what's happening at SLA at the national level, and also see who the key players are, the movers and the shakers. These are the people that you're going to want to know. You're going to see them at the conference in many different areas. So it's a great introduction to the conference and to see what the issues are. And you can discuss these issues as, you know, talking points during the conference, so it gives you things to talk about. When you're in the sessions, talk to the speakers, get their cards, tell them what you liked about their presentation. It's just another nice way of engaging. When you're in the sessions and you don't know anyone, you'll actually get to recognize people. They're wearing the same clothes all day. They might be in the same few of the same sessions as you. Go up to them during, as you're going in, whatever. You can chat, start a conversation, ask them about the last session that they attended, what impressed them the most about the last speaker. If you see someone standing alone during a cocktail hour, go up to them. They'll appreciate it. You'll have somebody to talk to. So, and then other people will be drawn in as well. So again, that's something that goes both ways. And don't be afraid to say, this is my first SLA conference. If you say that, people really are extra nice to you, and they'll introduce you to people. So, and I think SLA gives you, at your first conference, first-timers green tag or red tag or something. So it's always easy to spot the first-timers. And whenever I see a first-timer, I always make an extra effort to go up to that person to be nice.
I do too.
So,
yeah.
see?
So it's not a bad thing to say, like, I'm new here,
Yeah.
Like, in a lot of situations you wouldn't
really
want to do that, but it works out.
Let's see what else here. Ditch the cell phone. Yeah, it's nice if you don't know anyone to get into the meeting and start playing on your phone, even if you don't have any email messages or whatever. But engage, drop the cell phone, put it in your bag, turn it off. You can check it during some other break or something. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for drinking. Now, I know, we're in a college, we all drink, we like wine and everything else. As a professional, have a couple of glasses, but don't get drunk. You'll be sorry. These are people that you're going to have to face the next day. And people talk, people remember. You might be funny for a while, but we're grown-ups now, and, we probably shouldn't be doing as much of that. Let's see. Business cards, when you have make sure you bring business cards and bring a lot more than you need. Often people run out on the last day, and this is when you're really getting into the conference meeting people, so have extras made. Bring 500. You can always take them back with you. And write notes on the back, like if I had met Brandy and she has her own business, so I'm interested in starting my own business. Easy way to remember what our conversation was about, and also to perhaps, if I felt there was some type of relationship there, connect with her on LinkedIn afterwards. And when I would do that on LinkedIn, I just wouldn't use the standard default, I'd like to join your network. I would say, Brandy, we met at the SLA Conference, you mentioned you had your own business and you deal with whatever. It's just a nice way of connecting. If you're going to the conference, try to stay for the entire conference, not just for being there for the sessions during the day. A lot of the networking goes on at night at the cocktail parties and open houses. We're all going to be exhausted after all these meetings, after hearing the speakers and sessions. You just got to plug on. So don't go home, don't go back. Well, you're not going to be staying in a hotel probably, since we're all right here this year. But just try to go to the evening events as well. The last thing I want to mention is that conferences are overwhelming, and you're going to be running from session to session. You can give yourself a break, skip a session, either before lunch or after lunch, to kind of recoup, just to just get a handle on your own, what you need for your own body, and to go on to the next one. And so it's not bad to skip a session and just sit on the sidelines as well. So that's all I had. I also brought, I don't know if you had, I'll pass these out. Maybe we could pass them out. I printed out what was on, you probably have already seen it, I printed out what was on the SLA website, some tips and tricks as well from their viewpoint that you might want to be aware of as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. Those are all great.
So of the people here, how many have actually registered already? Awesome. Okay, and how many of you are thinking you're probably going to go? All right. Awesome. That's great. Cool. I am really excited that it's in Boston this year. It's rare that it comes. I don't think it's in Boston since '97. Something like that. So it's been like almost 20 years. So it's a really unique opportunity, and I think it's great for the students to have the chance to come see this, because it does get expensive when you're traveling and you have to include 2 to 3 nights hotel plus flight plus, it's a lot. So for you to be able to, come as a student and just go to the conference and not necessarily pay all of that, just to get a sense of it so that you can find out how worth it really is. I think that's a great opportunity. I made some notes as Betty was talking. So my first conference, I was very confused about how things worked. And Betty mentioned kind of the geographic splits of SLA versus the subject splits. So geographically, SLA is in chapters. So we have the New England chapter here. So that's, if you join SLA, you would probably become a member of the New England chapter. And then they have divisions, which are the more subject-specific or technology-specific kind of things. So there's knowledge management, there's taxonomy, there's IT, there's social science, there's bioscience, there's all kinds of divisions. And the conference itself is usually organized around those divisions programming. Whereas during the rest of the year, you're usually associating with your chapter. So that's kind of a hint to what you're going to want to look at, is what divisions are you interested in being part of, and then look at their program. I know Betty definitely gave the caution against being on your cell phone all the time, which I would agree with, but I also would say that the Twitter back channel at this conference is really active, really popular. great way to get insight, great way to find resources that go beyond what you just heard. So the hashtag for that is SLA 2015. The online planner is a really good tool. You can save things. It gives you sessions. You can break things out by division. You can break things out by whether you pay for them or not, that kind of thing. The CE classes are the only things you pay for, and ticketed events. And then the other way that I think is really great if you're shy is go to a poster session, because it's automatically something to talk about, because people are standing there wanting to tell you about the work they did, and all you have to say is, tell me about your poster, and they just start talking. And so it's a really easy way to meet people. And then other than that, I just wanted to kind of plug things locally, since Kalila and I are doing kind of local arrangements. The first is that we are collecting for a group called Respond Inc., which is New England's oldest domestic violence agency and shelter, and we're collecting toiletries for their residents. And so what is it called? Travel size toiletries and full size toiletries. So if you are on the lookout or you want to stop by and bring something, that'd be great. We need booth volunteers to show people, here's a great restaurant near here, or this is how far it is to get to that, or I wouldn't go to the public garden today because XYZ, that kind of thing. And those are like 1 or 2 hour shifts. And so if you are interested in that, it's a great opportunity to talk to a lot of people and to show off your knowledge, and we could really use your help. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And on May 9th, we are doing a seaport crawl. So we thought we'd get to know the area that the conference is in. So we're going to go to 3 different restaurants, like a pub crawl. But we'll go to 3 different restaurants and have, like an appetizer at one, dessert at another, that kind of thing. And that's on the SLA New England website. So if you're interested, register this week, because we're trying to figure out how many people to accommodate. But that's going to be a really fun event.
Which restaurants are going?
Oh, I don't remember.
We're going to Papagayo. Hope I'm saying that right. Lucky's Lounge and Bark and Crab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be really cool.
Right there.
And then you can get to know people, that are going to the conference too. So you'll have some familiar faces.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if everyone was aware of the SLA New England is sponsoring a stipend, a student stipend, and I believe it's the deadline might be today. But that's obviously an opportunity.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. But obviously, it's an opportunity for you to, have your conference paid for if you decide to apply for that stipend today. And I think there are also several other stipends that are still available for you to apply to as well. Not just targeting SLA New England, but divisions also have student stipends as well.
And there's a list of those on the conference website.
Yeah, there's a list of those, and I think SLA at Simmons also has a couple of blog posts about those different stipends as well. And Betty mentioned, mentor or buddy program. So leadership has a buddy program for the conference, but also PAM, which is physics, astronomy and mathematics. So they also are coordinating a buddy program as well. So if you're interested in those subjects, look at the PAM division and apply to be a buddy, or to get a buddy rather. So I also won the student stipend several years ago. So I won the student stipend. I had a chance to go to the conference that was in Toronto. First time in Toronto, first time at the conference. It was a bit overwhelming, but I did go to the first timers, as Betty mentioned, and that was really helpful. I got to meet quite a few folks who saw me as this rookie and just, took me around. Took me to dinner, took me to open houses, took me to vendor receptions, and just made me feel comfortable. And also, since I just graduated from Simmons, I wasn't sure what I was going to do or what I was, I had no idea. I didn't know where to apply for, where my skills fit. So it gave me the opportunity to talk to folks and kind of learn what they were doing. And kind of get a better idea of how I refine my resume or refine my description or just figure out what I want to do. So it's just a great opportunity to do that. And even now I do that. You go there and like, I'm not sure what I want to do next. And you just talk to people, you learn, you knowledge share. And also everyone's doing so many different things because our field is so diverse. So you just get to learn new stuff just by talking to them, just going to the open houses or going to the different sessions or going out for lunch. It's just a great opportunity.
I'd love to hear questions. What do you want to know? Yeah.
I have some questions just from based on what you've all said so far, which is, so you mentioned not getting super drunk, but what if you don't drink at all? Is it hard to be in a cocktail hour if you're not drinking?
No,
Not at all. No.
No, I would say there's half the people have a glass of wine. Yeah, it's really easy. And there's always food, which is great. I think especially as a student, you're looking to keep this cheap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go to the open houses because there's appetizers at this one has dessert. It's not a ton of food. I mean, SLA isn't super,
Except
there's no...
Yeah, there's certain ones.
With all of the appetizers, there's
I don't go
party
to those.
appetizers, and all of the
Yeah.
appetizers can become
add
a
up.
dinner.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't buy dinner when I go to this conference because of the open house. I go from one, I start, 30 minutes I'll be at this open house, I'll go to this open house, I kind of open house hop. So drink, don't be concerned about drinking, just like they said, yeah.
And I think it's great to talk to someone standing alone, but if someone's standing alone because they purposefully want to be alone, what can you do if you're standing by yourself so that people don't come up to you? If you're in one of those regrouping and calibrating yourself moments, maybe that would be time to take.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
How Betty
yeah,
said it's
yeah.
off-putting because it alienates people? Just go ahead and alienate
Yeah.
people. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Or also, you'll see in the convention center, there are areas where a lot of people will kind of congregate, but then there are further off areas. There, it seems like people, and I know that you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where people, I think, go to regroup
Yeah.
quietly.
Just nooks and crannies and
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bench over there. And,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good questions. What else? Yeah.
How many people usually attend?
It really ranges. Last year in Vancouver was a lower attendance, and that was 2,000. I think in past years, maybe the highest we've gotten is
4,000?
4. So
Mhm.
I would think Boston would probably be in the middle. It hasn't been on the East Coast for 2 years, so I think, and East Coast tends to be more well attended. So I'm hoping that it'll be well attended. 3 to 4. I'm hoping. I have no idea what the
And
numbers are.
I
at.
think also being on the East Coast too is that some librarians, they can't attend the whole conference because
Yeah.
maybe they're a solo librarian, so they just might register for one day. So I think there's probably a fair amount of day trippers as well that
Yeah,
would attend.
that's true. Yes.
You talked a little about sessions based on divisions, but could you talk more about choosing which sessions to go to and that whole process?
Sure. Were you one of those people, I don't know, maybe still even in grad school, but in college I was one of the people who pored over the course catalog and I mean, you can do that on the online planner, which is nice, and just mark off everything you think you want to attend, and then as it gets closer, or even within the midst of a day, you can just switch course very easily because you have everything marked off that you might possibly want to go to. But if you go to a first session on knowledge management and you realize this really wasn't what you thought it was going to be, then maybe you don't want to go to any more knowledge management sessions that day and you could just knock those off your list. So, but I think, I don't know, I think go to anything that piques your interest. Don't feel like you have to, leave with a set of skills necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Don't put too much pressure on yourself because some of the most interesting sessions can be the ones that you would never have thought I should have attended this. They always do the science of chocolate or
This year there's one on seed libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm interested. Heather McCann's going to be on the panel. She's a member. But I'm interested in seed libraries. I had no idea what they were until I learned more about it, talked to Heather. Now I'm going to that session.
Yeah. So be broad about what you think about, and if you're still a student, there's lots of time to just learn. So try to get a variety.
And the other thing, I'm sorry, and the other thing I wanted to mention too is personally when I'm going through the session catalog, I don't look to see what division is or who's putting it on. I look at the title.
Yeah.
To me, it's irrelevant if it's the sci-tech division that's putting on, because it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a sci-tech topic. It could be a management topic. So I never look at what divisions, what a specific division is doing. I go by title and who the speakers are. So.
So you don't have to register. Is that what you were going to ask? You don't have to register in advance for what sessions you want to attend. You just show up.
Yeah.
And some of the sessions will end up being standing room only, and it's just really hard to predict that from the planner's point of view and from the attendee's point of view. You just don't know what's going to be popular.
And people will be sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
They will.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be shy to just sit down if it's something you really want to attend. What else?
There's this thing, it's like a QR code bracelet where you can put your, basically like your business card on your wrist and someone can take their phone and scan you. Is that something you guys have ever seen at a conference, or if I happened to buy one, I would be alone? I mean, that I would just hide it, but.
I've not seen it, but I think it's certainly, if nothing else, a conversation starter, right? That's cool. Yeah, definitely have business card printed up. I mean, they don't have to be, if you don't have a job yet, just write student, and just have something with your email address on.
Does everybody have business cards? We get them free.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Get your business cards.
And Karen, there's also a professional development reimbursement that Simmons students can receive to attend the conference.
That deadline passed.
Okay.
Because the conference is in the summer, you can use your fall.
Yeah, summer you can use for either end.
Oh, wow.
So how much is the stipend?
Yeah, well, it depends.
Oh,
nice.
That's awesome.
I'm getting about 200 back at
Good for you.
That's awesome.
I made the deadline.
So that $300 would pay for you to attend the conference. I believe the fee for students is $205. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
And if you weren't a
incredible.
member, it would also pay for you to be a member, since it's only $40 to be a student member.
The thing I really like about SLA is that I feel like the people that are in it are really cutting edge, which sounds like so cliche, but I really feel like these are the professionals who take this profession seriously, want to be on the top of their game, have an interest in being leaders. I mean, these are real, I just find people to be really professional. In not like a bland, stiff way, but in a way that's, like, this is what we do, this is who we serve, this is why we do it, this is how we get people to understand our importance. These are great people. And like Betty said, if you attend the fellows and first timers, like, the fellows are the people who are recognized by SLA as people who have already done a ton of service for the organization and have an expectation of future service. So Betty has already been recognized for how much she's done for the organization, so she's obviously committed to it. So if you go to a fellows reception, then these are the people who are leading the organization. Really cool. There's an IT dance party.
Yes. Yes, there is. Yeah.
The IT division puts on a dance party every year, and it's become like a thing. Like it's
everyone goes.
Everyone goes.
Everyone goes, yeah.
Yeah, they generally, it's pretty fun actually. Sometimes they have themes, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know what this year's theme, but you'll see the president of SLA just on the dance floor jamming.
Yeah, and some people will dress up for the theme, whatever the theme.
But you definitely
may be.
don't. I've never dressed
I
up.
can't recall
Yeah.
what the theme
Yeah.
is.
Are these all no charge?
Yeah.
Sessions?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I noticed there was quite a few that were when I was registering, so I felt like I can't.
Yeah, the ticketed events are really kind of just extras. For example, like we have a ticketed event for a tour to Newport that pays for the bus to get down there, right? So that's like an add-on thing that you would do
Along with the
after.
those are add-ons. Like we have a duck tour and
a walking tour.
A walking tour. Yeah, so those are all ticketed events, but there's the IT dance party, there's trivia night, and there's also the East Coast reception that the SLA New England chapter is co-sponsoring as well, and those are free.
The international reception is another good one to go to. I mean, it's really cool to meet people from all over the world, and SLA is becoming more and more international as we go forward. And people have a really good time there. I just feel like people are so happy to see each other. It's neat.
What about there are like 2 days prior that there are sessions or classes or workshops that you can sign up for?
Yeah.
Are those specific to divisions? Are they?
Oh, the continuing education sessions.
Yeah.
So those are typically sponsored by divisions, but anyone can register to attend those.
But they usually have a cost associated.
Yeah, there's a
with
cost
them.
associated. It's possible. I'm going to say it, and then hopefully I don't have to backtrack on it. But there are times when these sessions will request a student to help, a student helper, and free of charge you can attend the session, but you have to help with logistics and setup. I don't know if any of the divisions are going to offer that this year, but in the past they have.
I think the CI division is doing that, but the deadline for it already passed. So I think a lot of the divisions have a deadline.
If there's one you're interested in attending, it can't hurt to just email them and see.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first official day is Sunday? Monday.
Sunday.
Yeah. It starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Yeah.
you know what? That Saturday, people are already starting to mill around and register as well. So I mean, I'm going to go over I'm going to go over Saturday to do the board of directors meeting, and then register and kind of get my bearings and everything else, and then I have some dinner thing to go to that night. So
Yeah, and we'll have dine-arounds, so that's another opportunity for folks to network and meet other attendees as well.
Those are great. It'll be like maybe a group of 10 people going out to dinner, and it's small, and you pay for what you order, and it's just it's a smaller. If the big conference is too overwhelming, this is a nice way to start.
What about the round tables? Did they do the round table discussions at SLA?
There's a few sessions that are formatted that way, but there's nothing. I don't think that's
it's not a
conference
formal.
wide.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about the jargon that we might encounter that we might get confused?
That's like a great question.
You may hear the reference headquarters, and it's just something that comes out, just slips out. And it really means SLA. It means National SLA. That's all it really means. That's one thing I can think of.
Except the other thing is that we're really not supposed to call it
I know.
national because it's an international association. So we're supposed to say headquarters because we got people from Saudi Arabia coming, all over the world. So
It basically refers to the staff of SLA, the people that are kind of paid to run the organization, rather than the members who support it by volunteer.
And you may hear the acronyms for the divisions, LMD, or PAM, or KM, and those are just the acronyms for these divisions.
Leadership and management.
Physics, astronomy, mathematics, KM, knowledge management, CI, competitive intelligence. You may hear folks say that.
That's true.
Quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite often.
Yeah.
I was wondering what your one must do and one definitely don't do. So event-wise, not necessarily how to act, but
Yeah. A session that's really popular, I don't know if I assume they have one this year, is it's like 60 websites in 60 minutes, something named similar to that. 60 sites in 60 minutes is always popular. It's just people put together a review of all these cool things they found. Those are always well attended.
I'm not sure they're doing it this year.
I haven't really. I haven't thoroughly.
I thought last
studied
year
the
was the
program.
last year
Was
John
it?
was doing that.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
There is a. I was just thinking of a session that was very popular in Vancouver that I think they're doing again with was her name Julie Clegg?
Yes.
Using the internet as an investigative tool. That was a very
So
popular
well
session,
attended.
and that's happening again this year as well.
It was awesome. So basically, she's a detective, and she talked about how she uses free tools on the internet to learn more about people, right? So she basically found there's some way to outline on Google Maps where you are, an area. So she outlined the conference center, and then she picked someone's Twitter handle who was tweeting into SLA 2015, who was at the conference, and then she found his Facebook profile and then a blog entry that I had written and blah, blah, blah. So this guy wasn't even in this session, but by the end, we all knew who he was. I mean, it was fascinating. It was really cool. I think some people found it scary, but I just thought it was cool. Yeah, that's a good point. That was a really good, that was a really well-timed session. Something I love, and I don't know if other people love, is the SLA Awards presentation, which is usually first thing on Sunday. And it's a really neat way to see who is valued in this profession and why. What have they done to earn the respect of all of these professionals? And they do little videos on them sometimes, or
and it also just, that session also just sets the tone for the entire conference.
Yeah.
It's a nice introduction.
Yeah.
They're honoring Jim Roberts.
Yeah, which is well deserved.
Sunday?
yes, that'll be Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. He's our SLA advisor for people who don't go to our events very often. He's getting an award. It's going to be awesome.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Do you have, this is going to be a broad question, I guess, but it doesn't need to be, like, networking tips. I mean, I'm in middle age. I've had a career. I'm not a networker, and I've gotten away with really not having to do it. I mean, so when everyone says, I think
so that's not stressful at all. That's fine, right?
At Simmons, it's definitely something that's been reinforced. Like, you need to network. I mean, what am I supposed to be angling for a job? Like, I just want to talk to people. And
That's a perfect attitude.
but then I'm always like, am I doing it wrong? Should I be?
You don't end up with a
Explaining my
job
whole
offer at the
career?
end.
Some people do.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
and
the
I'm
only
like, am I
person
doing
that
it
you
wrong if I
The only
don't?
person you can be is you. You can't be anyone else. So, you know, I
I
always
think
try
that's
to,
really the right attitude. You don't need to go in with an agenda. You just need to talk to people. And it's like they used to back in the old days. They used to have, when no one had a handheld phone, they had computer line-up stations, right? So everyone would wait in line forever to get on a computer for 5 minutes and check their email. So in that line, I met the librarian from Target. I met the librarian from McDonald's. I mean, it's just like talking to people, and you're like, of course they would have a librarian. What do you do? You know what I mean? And it's really cool to get to learn what people do, especially at SLA, because our jobs are so diverse. So diverse. I mean, there's a wine librarian, there's a librarian from Disney, there's a librarian from, I don't even know. I mean, just
places that you would never think would have a special library. Yeah, there's a zoo librarian too.
the San Diego Zoo librarians were there.
So that was one.
Yeah, I mean, just people have really cool jobs, and I think that's what I like to get out of networking is like, what do you do, and what is it like to work there? I mean, like the Nike archives, the Coca-Cola archives, Fashion Institute of Technology, Semester at Sea has a librarian. Like, these people are all members. It's cool. So, I mean, I think the easiest way that I open conversations is, what did you go to today that was good?
Yeah. And also looking at their badge.
Yeah.
And seeing, San Diego Zoo. Well, that's certainly a conversation starter.
Yeah.
I mean, noticing that and, opening with that, I think is, a good way to do it.
What about what should we bring with us? We've talked about business cards, but I mean, we're going to be there all day long.
Yeah.
So, candy, water.
Change of clothes.
Probably a water bottle. I mean, you're going to be going from session to session, and also walking the expo info or exhibition hall.
Yeah.
So bringing a bottle of water.
Find some
Or
comfortable
water bottle.
shoes.
Yeah.
Because the sessions can be completely opposite ends of the building, and those convention centers are giant.
Yeah. And also bring a notebook to write all your notes that you're going to be taking from all these speakers.
A charging cord, for sure. Your phone will run out.
Yeah.
There will be charging stations.
Charging
but
stations. Yeah.
You're going to need the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Mints, breath mints. Granola bar. I mean, I would pack a couple snacks. Yeah. Good question.
I don't know if this was mentioned or if it's just obvious. It's a pretty simple logistical question, but Boston has 2 convention centers.
Yeah.
Which one is this in?
It's the BCEC, so it's the Boston
Seaport.
Convention
Oh, so it's the one in
Exhibition
South.
Center.
Mhm.
Yeah, on the water,
The new one.
not the one in
That's gonna be
Copley
cool.
Square.
Yeah, it's a cool area.
Seaport area?
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I know, obviously it's most economical to not get a hotel room, but you might want to, if you have a student friend and you want to split a hotel room for one night, that's something to think about because you can go pretty late. I mean, if you really stay throughout, you can be up networking until like 11 o'clock. So if you feel like you want to make the investment in splitting a hotel room with someone and staying one night, it's something to think about. I mean, it sounds ridiculous because we're in Boston, but I know, like, I'm in Wilmington, right? I'm not going to fight Boston traffic in the morning and then go drive home at midnight and make my kids lunches. Like, I'm not doing that, So I'm just staying 2 nights with a friend. So in the end, I'm paying the equivalent of 1 night's hotel.
Yeah, and I live in the South End, and my colleague Jen, whom I work with, she lives in, I think, Westford, which is about, it's not that far, but the traffic is always horrendous. So I said, so I'm hosting her. I said, you can stay the whole conference with me. And she goes, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
so we're
perfect.
going to be the buddy system.
Nice,
So-
nice. Yeah. Anything else?
Question? I know that the student group of SLA here at Simmons, we are talking of doing a coffee in the morning. What were we saying? I think Sunday morning? Yeah. Just to get together and try to invite the other student groups and get to do some student networking.
That's a great idea.
Make
Yeah.
a plan for the day.
I did also want to mention this. I believe Simmons, or SLIS, is planning something too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is yet. I spoke to Catherine. Is it Catherine who? Did I speak, wait a minute.
What am I planning?
I'm sorry. Did I speak to you? Or no?
Is it the Dale Bearders event? Is that what you're talking about?
No, we didn't. It was someone in the admissions office.
Oh, Catherine Beatrice?
Yes.
I don't know her last name.
Yes.
Yeah, I know her.
Yes. Is her name Beatrice or?
Her name is Catherine Beatrice.
Okay, I knew it was Catherine's. Yeah, so I know that they're. I think the Dean Abels is trying to plan some event at the conference as well. So you guys may want to be in
that's
touch
really
with her
nice.
as well.
Alumni event, maybe?
It could be an alumni event. I wasn't sure what they were planning to do. So, but I did know that Dean Abels was working on something as well.
So you send out information about it?
I sure will. I would love to.
So well, we will see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So is
I don't know.
anyone still on? I'm wondering, is anyone still on the fence about going? And if so, what is keeping you on the fence?
I was, but now I think my mind might change.
Okay.
It was the whole money issue
Yeah.
because that's kind
It's
of
a lot of money. Yeah.
It's a lot of
pricey for
money.
students. So yeah, and just for me personally, I don't like the way how Simmons is reimbursing our students.
It's like a partial of reimbursement at best if you're lucky.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it's weird.
It's a really good investment.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a really good investment because you can go at what is comparatively an inexpensive price as a student to then figure out if this is a good professional home for you. Because once you get out into your first professional job, I would advocate for you when you get to a negotiation point that you include at least one professional membership in your package, that you should say, I have always said this, I need you to pay for my membership to SLA, and I expect to attend one conference per year. And if you as a student can explore the different associations, I mean, like ALA is worlds different than SLA. So which one is a better fit for your career, and which one gets you more jazzed, or which one has the people that you most relate to? So if you can figure that out as a student, it's a good investment because then once you get to being a professional, you'll know where to go.
Perfect. Yeah.
This is a logistical question, but since there are scholarships, would you recommend just registering and then waiting to see if maybe you get a scholarship, or just wait and then register?
I would register now because it's
Yeah.
the early bird rate.
Right.
They extended it for like another
Until
but
the
if-
30th,
this
right?
week or something.
Yeah, but I think this student rate is the same throughout.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's the same, but my assumption is most stipends are reimbursement, so you may pay for your registration and then you're reimbursed later. Yeah.
Regardless, yeah.
But I think going to the conference is great because it's a great networking opportunity. I've met people who have said at the conference, you mentioned Matt Herbelay, who went to the conference and got a job.
At the conference.
At the conference.
Oh, awesome.
So
In the Info Expo
Yeah.
hall. He was like talking to a vendor
Yeah.
and he was like, this is a really cool product, tell me more about it. And they basically interviewed him on the spot, called him, flew him out to California, he got a job.
Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because the New England chapter
Yeah.
sponsored him as we had like a unemployed or underemployed stipend.
Mhm.
And he got employed because he got to the conference. It was so cool. Yeah.
But there's so many sessions too. I mean, there's so many sessions. You can learn about so many different things. If you're interested in user experience or taxonomy or knowledge management or competitive intelligence, or you've heard about this career in prospect research, you can learn about it there.
Yeah.
And you really won't be, I
Yeah.
guarantee you will not be sorry you came to the conference.
Yeah,
I
that's
guarantee.
true.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about SLA New England, because I know a lot about the student group, but not quite how to get involved. I also know a lot about the Minnesota chapter.
That's a great chapter.
The New England chapter. So just how do students get involved with that?
That's a great question. Well, the president of the chapter is Stephanie Macklin Hurd, and you can obviously reach out to her. And the president-elect is Liz.
Liz Urbancic, yeah.
I'm glad you said her
Yeah,
last
and
name.
that's she was my intern last year. SLA New England is always looking for people to fill slots.
Yeah.
Or often to share a position, such as, membership chair or something.
Or archivist.
Yeah.
Or,
And it's just a great entree into the chapter as well.
Mm-hmm. And what I really like about the chapter is they really try to give you a sense of what you're committing to. So this job would require, 5 hours a month, whereas this is like a one-time deal. We just need you to hand out, we need you to do the name tags at this event. That kind of there's lots of ways that you can be involved that are.
I guess I've looked at the chapter also as a great opportunity to maybe this is not the best thing to say, as a sandbox to really try out skills that you're not sure about, that you want to build. Maybe it's speaking, or maybe it's speaking or presentation, or maybe it's delegating or something like that. It's an opportunity to really practice those skills and not have it impact you from within your work or your career. So I don't know if So you're getting the answer you're looking for, Catherine?
Well, that is helpful, but I'm also wondering, do we find out more about events on the listserv, or?
You find out, the chapter posts a lot of their information on the listserv. There's also a website, newengland.sla.org, that has a lot of information as well. There's also
there's a
Facebook page, there's LinkedIn, Twitter, which is pretty active as well. Yeah.
I think one of the best things that ever happened to me was when I was at I had just started at Simmons. I had never worked in a library before. It was my first semester, and I had actually gotten the job at Draper as a library assistant. And my boss, Hope Kaufman, had just been elected Boston chapter president. Back then it was called the Boston chapter. Now it's the New England chapter. I knew nothing about what SLA was or anything. And she came up to me and she said, and I knew that she had become president. And she came up to me and she said, so I'm president? And I said, yes. And she said, I need a membership chair and you're it. And I said, I have no idea what SLA is. I don't know what a membership, I didn't say that, but I'm thinking that. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because that's how I got involved in the local chapter as member. And what was really good about being membership chair, you get to meet a lot of people and send out, and then it was sending out letters via postal. But it's a great it was a great place to start. And then there was I'm not sure they have this anymore in the chapter, but it was called the hospitality chapter. And so we used to register people for coming into the meeting. So then you get to kind of know the names and the faces. And then I just would I'd see you this time, and then I'll see you in a few months again. And it just mushroomed. So, but yeah, the chapter's a great way to get involved. So.
I was going to say, in addition to that, coming in as the SLA president, I contacted the chapter, and I can't even tell you guys how great they are. Like every event, people are signing up to come to our events and helping us, and there's always networking, and they're just really fantastic. So I would highly recommend going to more events.
Starting with the May 9th Seaport Crawl, that you can register for that event at newengland.sla.org. Yep.
Yep. And you can bring other people too if you have like a roommate or whatever.
Yep.
You can certainly bring people because
It's
we're
a
all
week
just gonna
before
be hanging out.
graduation,
Yeah.
too, a day before Mother's Day.
Day after my birthday.
Oh, a day after your birthday, too?
Yeah. Happy birthday. Thank you.
So it looks like it's almost time to wrap up. Any final questions? Anybody? Any final comments?
Thanks for having us.
Likewise, yeah. Thank you.